The bathroom door wasn't supposed to be open. Ryan had lived with strange people before, but none as secretive as her. Lyra. That was the name on the lease. Short, soft, almost musical. She moved in 3 weeks ago and kept to herself. No small talk, no loud music, no late-night parties, nothing like the roommates he had before. In fact, Ryan thought she might be the perfect roommate, until today thought it started as a normal evening. The sky outside was orange, the air still warm from the day. Ryan was scrolling on his old tablet, listening to soft music, when he noticed something unusual. Water running. For too long. The shower had been on for nearly 40 minutes. He frowned. Maybe she liked long baths, but in 3 weeks, she never used the bathroom this much. He checked the time again. 50 minutes now. Steam was curling under the door and filling the hallway. Something about it felt strange, thicker than normal, almost glowing under the dim light. He stood up, walked to the door, and knocked gently. Lyra? You okay in there? No answer. Only the soft sound of water. And something else. A hum, like music, but not human. A rhythm that pulsed against his bones, like the walls themselves were vibrating. He knocked again, louder. Lyra? Still no reply. His chest tightened. What if she slipped and fell? What if she drowned? He told himself he was being responsible, not nosy. Just check on her and close the door. That was it. Ryan gripped the knob. I'm coming in. Okay. The door opened with a slow creak, and his world changed. The steam wasn't normal. It shimmered like silver dust in the air, tiny sparks dancing as if alive. His eyes burned from the brightness, but then they adjusted, and that's when he saw her. Not Lyra, not the quiet girl who wore hoodies and kept her hair tied back. No, this was something else. She stood in the center of the bathroom, her back to him. Her skin wasn't skin. It glowed with soft blue light, lines moving across her body like rivers of energy. Her hair floated in the air, glowing faintly like strands of living glass. Her arms were long and elegant, ending in fingers that split like petals. And her body wasn't human. Too slender, too perfect, too alien. Ryan's breath caught in his throat. His mind screamed to look away, but he couldn't. She turned slowly, water sliding down her glowing form like liquid stars. And her eyes, those eyes met his. They weren't eyes like his. They were deep pools of silver, glowing softly, reflecting him like a mirror. And yet, behind them, there was something else. Fear. Ryan, she whispered, her voice layered, as if two tones spoke together. Soft, broken, afraid. His heart slammed in his chest. He stumbled back, knocking into the doorframe. Words died on his tongue. What could he even say? He wasn't looking at a girl anymore. He was looking at something from another world. She stepped forward. An instinct made him retreat, but his legs felt heavy. He wanted to run, but his brain was frozen, trapped in the unreal beauty and terror before him. You're not. His voice cracked. Her glowing fingers curled slightly, like she wanted to reach out, but didn't dare. Her face, if he could call it that, shifted in sadness. You weren't supposed to see this, she said, barely above. A whisper. Not yet. Ryan's breath came in short gasps. His mind raced. Was this real? A dream? Some VR prank? No, this was real. The steam burned in his lungs. The tiles under his feet were cold, and her glow lit the whole room like a soft blue fire. What are you? He asked. She closed her eyes for a moment. When they opened, the silver light in them dimmed, like the weight of the universe was pressing down on her. Something you should fear, she said quietly, and something you cannot tell anyone. He froze. Every instinct screamed to run, to get away, to slam the door and pretend this never happened. But his legs wouldn't move, because deep down, another voice whispered, "She's not hurting you. She's scared." A drop of glowing water slid from her shoulder and hit the floor, hissing like hot metal. The hum in the air grew softer, fading as if her power dimmed. "Ryan," she said again, and this time her voice wasn't strange. It was soft, almost human. "Please, leave." His hand trembled on the doorknob. His mouth was dry. Finally, he managed to whisper, "Okay." He stepped out and closed the door. The latch clicked. He stood there, heart pounding, staring at the wood grain, hearing the shower resume. The humming sound returned, but softer now, like a secret. Ryan pressed his back to the wall and slid down, his mind spinning. He had seen something he wasn't supposed to, something not human. And it was living in the next room. Ryan didn't sleep that night. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, his heart still pounding hours after he closed the bathroom door. Every time he blinked, he saw her again, glowing skin, flowing hair like silver threads, eyes that weren't eyes. His brain kept repeating the same words. What did I just see? He told himself to forget it, pretend it never happened. That was the smart thing to do. He didn't know what she was, and maybe he didn't want to know. People who got curious in these stories always ended up dead. He wasn't going to be that guy, but pretending was harder than he thought. Ryan woke up late. His throat was dry, his head heavy, and the apartment was too quiet. He stepped into the hallway and froze when he saw the bathroom door. Closed, no light under it. No steam this time. He walked past it quickly, acting casual, but his stomach twisted. When he reached the kitchen, Lyra was already there, sitting at the small table with a cup of tea in her hands. Her hoodie was back, sleeves covering everything. Her hood was up too, casting a shadow over her face. "Morning," Ryan said, trying to sound normal. His voice cracked. "Morning," she replied softly, not looking at him. The tension was thick. He poured himself coffee, feeling her presence like a weight. She didn't move, didn't fidget, just sat there silent like a statue. He couldn't stop thinking, does she know I saw her? The look he risked a glance at her. Her face was mostly hidden, but her eyes, those silver eyes from last night, were normal now. Brown, soft, human-looking. Was it all some kind of hallucination? But then she raised her head slightly, and for a split second, something changed. A flicker. Her pupils stretched into thin slits before returning to normal. Ryan almost dropped his mug. She knows. His hands tightened around the cup. He forced a smile, hoping she couldn't hear his heart pounding. "I have work," he mumbled, moving toward the door. "Ryan." Her voice stopped him cold. Slowly, he turned. She was watching him now, her hood still up, but he could feel those eyes burning into him. "You slept late," she said. Her tone was calm, but there was something behind it, a warning, maybe even a test. "Yeah?" Ryan said quickly. "Stayed up gaming. You know, normal stuff." He laughed awkwardly. It sounded fake, even to him. She nodded once and looked down at her tea again. Right, normal stuff. Ryan didn't wait for more. He muttered a goodbye and left, but the air still clung to him like thick smoke. His shift at the cafe was a blur. Orders came and went, but his mind wasn't there. It was stuck in that bathroom, on that glowing skin, on her words. You weren't supposed to see this. Who was she? No, what was she? Every scenario played in his head. Alien, experiment, something out of a horror story. But then he remembered the look in her eyes, not anger, not hatred. Fear. She was scared of him. And that thought made something in his chest tightened. When Ryan came home that evening, The apartment was dark, except for a single lamp in the living room. Lyra was on the couch, reading a book. She looked normal again. Completely normal. Too normal. "Hey," he said, forcing a smile. "Hey," she answered without looking up. He sat on the other end of the couch. Silence stretched like a rope between them. Finally, he spoke. "Long day?" She closed the book slowly and looked at him. Her face was calm, but her eyes, they weren't. Something heavy sat in them. Something that said she knew exactly what was going on. "You've been quiet," she said softly. Ryan shrugged. "Just tired." "Sure," she replied, voice low. She stood up, walked to her room, and paused at the door. Then, without turning, she said, "Ryan, you should stop asking questions you don't want answers to." The door closed behind her with a soft click. Ryan stared after her, his pulse hammering in his ears. He hadn't asked a single question out loud. Hours later, as Ryan lay in bed, his phone buzzed. One new message. From Lyra. "We need to talk. Midnight." Living room. His hands shook as he read it again. His stomach dropped like a stone. She knew. And whatever was coming next, he wasn't ready. Midnight came, and Ryan sat in the living room, heart racing, waiting for the knock that never came, because the door to her room opened by itself. The clock ticked louder than usual. Every second was a hammer in Ryan's ears. Midnight. A message replayed in his mind. "We need to talk." Midnight. Living room. He sat on the old couch, phone in his hand, eyes on the dark hallway. The apartment was silent, except for the faint hum of the fridge. Shadows danced in the corners, making the place feel smaller, tighter. Finally, he heard the soft click of her door. Ryan's breath caught as Lyra stepped out, but something was different. Her hood was down. Her hair, if you could call it that, fell in silver strands, glimmering faintly like moonlight. Her face looked almost human. Almost. Her eyes glowed faintly, just enough to make the air feel electric. Ryan's fingers curled into fists on his knees. He wanted to speak, but his throat locked. "You came," she said softly. Her voice was layered again, two tones blending into one. It wasn't loud, but it filled the room. Ryan swallowed hard. "You told me to." She walked closer, bare feet making no sound on the floor. When she stood a few feet away, Ryan could finally see what his brain refused to accept before. Her skin wasn't glowing fully now, but faint lines of light ran under it, pulsing slowly, like veins carrying energy instead of blood. Ryan stood up. What are you?" Her silver eyes met his, and for the first time, there was no disguise. No hiding. "Not human," she said. The words hit him like cold water. "You figured that much," she added softly, almost sad. "But you don't know the rest." Ryan stared at her, his chest tight. "Then tell me." She looked around the room, like checking for something unseen, then whispered, "Your world is not safe anymore, Ryan. Not for me. And not for you." "What does that mean?" "It means," she said, her voice dropping lower, "what you saw in that bathroom was only a fraction of what I am, and now others will come." "Others?" Lyra nodded, her silver eyes glowing. "Brighter for a moment. Hunters. They can sense when our kind reveals themselves. You saw my true form. That created a signal. They'll follow it." Ryan felt the blood drain from his face. "Wait, so because I walked in on you?" "Yes." She cut in, sharp but calm. "They will come for both of us." Ryan's heart thundered. "What do they want? You or me?" "Both," she whispered. Ryan shook his head. This doesn't make sense." "You're saying you're an alien?" "Yes. And you live here because why? Why Earth?" Lyra's lips curved into something like a bitter smile. Because we needed a place to hide. My people lost a war a long time ago. We scattered. Some chose Earth. It was quiet, peaceful. She looked down, her voice softer now. I thought it was safe. Ryan stared at her, his mind spinning. Aliens. Wars, hunters. It was insane. And yet, she was standing there, glowing softly like living starlight. No human could fake that. What happens now? Ryan asked, his voice barely above a whisper, her gaze locked on his. You keep my secret. You pretend nothing is wrong. And if they come... Her voice trailed off. She didn't finish the sentence. Ryan stepped closer before he even realized it. You think I'm just going to turn you in? Her eyes widened slightly. Most would. Well, I'm not most. His voice was firm now. His hands shook. But something in him hardened. I'm not telling anyone. For the first time, her face softened. Relief flickered in her glowing eyes. Thank you, she whispered. Asterisk. But then her expression changed, shadows crossing her face. Ryan, listen carefully. If they find me, they won't kill me right away. They'll take me. And they'll take you too. They'll tear your mind apart to make sure you never speak. A chill ran down his spine. And if that happens, she added, stepping closer until the faint glow from her skin lit his face, you won't come back. Ryan swallowed hard. Every instinct screamed to run, to leave, to forget. But another voice whispered louder, she's alone. She's scared. And now, so am I, Dot? He nodded slowly. And we make sure they don't find you. Her silver eyes locked with his. For the first time, a spark of something trust, maybe even hope lit in their depths. You have no idea what you just agreed to? She said softly. Ryan didn't sleep that night either, because now the secret wasn't hers alone. It was his too. And that changed everything. Asterisk Ryan tried to forget what he saw, but every time he closed his eyes, her glowing skin returned haunting and beautiful. The apartment felt different now. Not because the walls changed or the lights were dimmer. It was something in the air, thick, heavy, like a storm waiting outside. Ryan sat on the edge of his bed, elbows on his knees, staring at nothing. He had promised her. No questions, no talking. Keep the secret. Easy, right? Except at WASN single quotes T that every time he blinked, he saw her, not the hoodie, not the quiet girl who kept to herself. He saw what was underneath. Skin like living light, hair floating as if in water, eyes that could swallow the stars. And the words she said last night replayed in his head. They'll come for both of us, Doc Ryan rubbed his face with both hands and whispered, what the hell did I get into? Asterisk he walked out to the kitchen, expecting silence. But she was there. Lyra, sitting at the table, drinking tea like nothing had changed. Hoodie back on. Hood up, ordinary, almost. Morning, she said softly. Ryan froze and forced a smile. Morning. He grabbed a mug, poured coffee, and tried not to look at her. But he felt her eyes on him, like she was reading his thoughts. You didn't sleep, she said. Not a question. A fact. Ryan shrugged. Lot on my mind. She tilted her head. Because of me? He didn't answer. He couldn't. His throat locked up. Instead, he sipped his coffee, scalding his tongue. Lyra stood and walked past him toward the window. The early sunlight touched her face, and for just a second, Ryan saw it, the faint glow under her skin, hiding like fire under glass. He looked away fast. His chest tightened. He didn't know why. Fear? Or something else? Asterisk later that day, Ryan was in the kitchen, slicing bread, when the knife slipped. It wasn't deep, but blood welled on his finger. He hissed in pain before he could grab a tissue. She was there. Fast. Too fast. Let me, she said. Her hand closed around his. Warmer than it should be. Her other hand hovered over the cut, and Ryan froze as a faint blue light flowed. From her palm, the pain vanished. The blood was gone. The skin sealed smooth, as if nothing happened. He stared at his finger, then at her. What did you? Lyra shook her head. Don't ask. Her voice was gentle, but her eyes carried weight. You're fine now. Ryan opened his mouth, but no words came. She stepped back, pulling her sleeve down to hide the faint glow fading from her hand. He couldn't stop staring. Not because of fear, because of wonder. That night, Ryan sat on the couch, pretending to watch TV. Lyra sat across from him, silent, reading a book. The quiet stretched too long, pressing on his chest until the words burst out. Do you hate me? He asked suddenly. Her head lifted slowly. Why would I hate you? Because I saw what you didn't want me to see. For a moment, she just looked at him. Her face was calm, but her eyes, they softened like clouds breaking for sunlight. No, she said finally. I don't hate you. Her voice dropped lower. I fear what happens now. That's different. Ryan nodded slowly. His throat tightened again. He wanted to tell her anything, but words failed. Instead, they sat in silence. Two people bound by a secret too big for the walls around them. Ryan was halfway to his room when it happened. A sound, soft like a whisper. He turned and froze. Lyra was standing by the window, staring out at the dark street. Her hood had slipped back. Her hair glowed faintly, like silver threads catching moonlight. Her eyes burned bright and outside beyond. The glass something moved. A shadow, quick and sharp, vanishing into the night. Ryan's heart slammed. What was that? Lyra didn't turn. Her voice was a whisper, almost lost in the hum of the streetlights. They found us. The night was quiet until the air outside screamed. Ryan didn't move. He stood frozen near the hallway, watching Lyra at the window. Her glowing hair reflected against the glass, silver threads shining faintly in the dark. She wasn't blinking. Her whole body was tense, like a wild animal sensing a predator. Ryan swallowed hard. What do you mean, they've found us? Lyra didn't turn. I felt the signal. Her voice was tight, shaking in a way he had never heard before. They're close. The words made Ryan's stomach twist. Who? Hunters? Yes, she whispered. The louder, sharp and cold. Get away from the window. Ryan obeyed without thinking. His legs felt heavy, but fear pushed him back toward the center of the room. Lyra pulled the curtain shut and stepped away. Her movements were fast, precise, like someone trained for this. She glanced around the room, her glowing eyes scanning everything. We need to leave, she said. Now, Ryan's heart thudded. Leave? Where? It's midnight. Anywhere but here, she snapped, then softened her tone. Please, Ryan, trust me. Before he could answer, the world outside changed. A low hum rolled through the street, like metal grinding against metal. Then a light swept across the curtains, cold, white, searching. Ryan's breath caught. What is that? Lyra grabbed his arm, her touch warm and strong. Search drone. They know I'm here. The hum grew louder. Shadows moved on the wall. A beam of light crawled slowly across the room, like a finger reaching for them. Stay. Down! Lyra pulled him to the floor. The couch hid them as the light passed over the window. Ryan held his breath, his heart slamming like a drum in his chest. The hum faded after a few seconds, but not far. They were circling. Ryan whispered. How many? Too many, she said softly, her silver eyes glowing brighter in the dark. And this is only the beginning. The sound of breaking glass shattered the silence. Ryan jumped, a cry escaping his lips as shards rained across the floor. A small metallic shape darted into the room, a drone, black and sharp, its single red eye burning like fire. Before Ryan could react, Lyra moved. Fast, too fast. Her hoodie ripped open as her arms stretched, glowing lines blazing under her skin. Her fingers split into petal-like shapes, snapping forward. The drone fired a beam of white light, but Lyra's hand glowed blue, and the beam shattered like glass against her energy field. She slammed the creature against the wall, her voice like thunder in two tones. Go. Ryan stumbled to his feet, his mind spinning. He barely registered her movements, the way her body shimmered, her skin glowing fully now, like living metal, beautiful and terrifying all at once. Ryan, move! She roared. That broke him free. He grabbed his jacket and bolted toward the door. Lyra was right behind him, her body blazing like a living storm. They burst into the night, the cold air slapping Ryan's face. The street was empty, silent too. Silent. Then he saw them. Shapes. Tall, thin, moving like shadows at the edges of the streetlights. Their eyes glowed faint red. Not drones, people, or something like people. Lyra? I see them, she hissed, grabbing his hand and pulling him down the alley. Her grip was iron strong. Don't stop. Behind them, the hum rose again, louder this time. Lights cut through the darkness like knives. Ryan's lungs burned as they ran, his shoes slapping against wet pavement. What do they want? From me? He gasped. They want what I am, she said without looking back. And anyone who knows the truth. The words hit him like a bullet. Anyone who knows. That meant him. Ryan's mind screamed, they'll kill me too. They reached. The end of the alley, a dead end. Ryan's heart dropped into his stomach. It's a wall. Lyra didn't stop. She slammed her glowing hands against the brick, and the wall rippled like water. Ryan's jaw fell open. What, how? No time. She snapped, pulling him through. The wall swallowed them in a rush of cold light, the last thing Ryan saw. Before the world bent was a figure stepping into the alley, eyes burning red, voice echoing like steel. Run all you want, little star. We always find you. Then everything went white. Ryan hit the ground hard and realized the world around him wasn't the same. Any more. Cold air ripped through his lungs as he landed on something smooth, glowing faintly under his hands. Not concrete, not earth. He rolled over, gasping, eyes wide. The alley was gone. The city was gone. Instead, he lay in a narrow tunnel that pulsed with blue light, like the inside of a living thing. The walls shimmered, alive with veins of energy that throbbed, softly like a heartbeat. What is this? His voice cracked in the silence. Lyra appeared beside him, her silver hair glowing brighter now, her human disguise completely gone. Her body shimmered with light, every line and curve flowing with an energy that made the tunnel respond like it knew her. This, she said, her voice echoing in two tones, is a safe passage, for now. Ryan stared, trying to steady his breathing. Safe? That thing broke through a wall. And they broke reality, she cut in sharply. And they'll do it again. We can't stay long. Ryan sat up, heart hammering. Then where does this go? Somewhere they can't track if we're fast enough. She reached out, pulling him to his feet. Her touch was warm, too warm, like fire under his skin. He didn't pull away. He couldn't. As they ran through the glowing tunnel, Ryan noticed something. Lyra wasn't moving like before. Her steps faltered slightly. Her glow dimmed. Lyra, are you okay? I used too much energy, she said quietly. "The jump, it trains me." Ryan swallowed hard. "How bad?" Her silver eyes flicked to him, and for the first time he saw it fear. "Bad," she. A DMITTED chill crawled down Ryan's spine. If she collapsed, he was dead. If she slowed down, they were both dead. Asterisk finally, the tunnel opened into a small chamber, glowing with pale blue light. In the center stood something that looked like a pedestal holding a black, curved object. Smooth, metallic, and humming faintly. Ryan stared. "What is that?" "Our only chance," Lyra whispered, walking toward it. Her legs shook, her glow flickering. She placed her hand on the device. It pulsed once, responding to her touch, then split open to reveal something like a bracelet, except it was alive tiny threads writhing like roots, glowing faint blue. Ryan's stomach turned. "That doesn't look friendly." "It's a bond link," she said, her voice low, urgent. "It hides my energy from the hunters. Cloaks us both." "But—" She hesitated. Ryan stepped closer. "But what?" Her silver eyes locked on his. "It only works if you wear it, if you let it connect." Ryan stared at the writhing band. "Connect? Like, how connect?" "It will link to your nervous system," she said. "Your thoughts. Your senses. We will share." Her voice softened on the last word. Ryan's heart slammed in his chest. "Share, like everything?" "Yes," she whispered. "Everything." Asterisk Ryan backed up a step. "And if I say no?" "Then they'll find us," she said simply. "And they'll tear your mind apart to get to me." Silence filled the chamber, heavy as stone. Ryan looked at the bracelet, the living, glowing band that pulsed like a heart. Then at her. At the silver glow of her skin, the fear in her eyes, the way her voice cracked when she said please. "Will it hurt?" He asked, his throat dry. "Yes," she said honestly, "for a moment. And then you'll never be the same." Ryan stared at his shaking hands. Never be the same. He wasn't the same already. Slowly, he stepped forward. "Do it." Lyra blinked, her lips parting in surprise. "You're sure?" "No," Ryan said with a weak laugh. "But I'm tired of running blind." Her eyes softened, something bright and raw shining in them. She lifted the band and held it out. "Give me your hand." Ryan extended his arm, heart pounding. The living band wrapped around his wrist, and then it struck. Asterisk pain exploded up his arm, white hot, ripping through every nerve like fire. Ryan screamed, falling to his knees as the band dug in, its glowing threads piercing his skin like roots, crawling under, fusing with him. Images slammed into his mind stars. Endless black skies, a world burning, Lyra standing alone in a storm of light. He felt her fear, her pain, her loneliness, all of it flooding into him like a tidal wave. And then, something else, warmth, a strange, wild sense of belonging. Ryan gasped as the pain faded, replaced by a hum under his skin, a pulse that wasn't his. The band on his wrist glowed softly, matching the lines of light now running faintly under his own skin. He looked up. Lyra knelt in front of him, her hand still on his, her silver eyes wide and shining. "It's done," she whispered. "You're linked now." Ryan swallowed hard. "What does that mean?" Her voice trembled, soft and raw. "It means, Ryan, you're part of me now." Asterisk, the chamber shook. The hunters had found them, and Ryan's heart wasn't his alone anymore. First tremor was small, a soft vibration under Ryan's knees, like distant thunder. But it grew, spreading through the glowing walls, until the entire chamber quivered with a low hum. Lyra's head snapped toward the tunnel they came from. Her silver eyes widened, glowing brighter. "They've breached the corridor." Ryan's pulse spiked. "Already? You said this place was safe." It was, she said, her voice tight. But the bond link, it sent out a surge. They felt it. Ryan glanced down at the glowing band fused to his wrist. Threads of blue light still pulsed under his skin, connected to hers like invisible. Roots. He could feel her now, really feel her. Not just her fear, but the burn of exhaustion in her muscles, the sharp ache of desperation hiding under her calm voice, and something else. Something that made his throat tighten. She didn't want to die. But more than that, she didn't want him to die. Ryan, Lyra said, grabbing his shoulders. Her hands were warm, too warm, like living light. Listen to me. There's a way out, but it's not what you think. Ryan swallowed hard. What way? Her gaze burned into him, raw and bright. There's a gate ahead. It can take us off this world. To my people? Off this world? Ryan's breath caught. You mean leave Earth? Yes, she said. It's the only way. Once we cross, the hunters can't follow. But the gate can't open unless the bond link is fully active. He stared at her, heart hammering. What does that mean for me? Her silence was answer enough. Ryan shook his head. Say it, Lyra. It means, she whispered, you can't come back. Ever. Once you cross, Earth is gone. The ground shook again, harder this time. The hum of the hunters grew louder, closer, a sharp metallic sound that scraped the air like knives. Ryan's mind spun. Leave Earth? Leave everything. His friends, his life, the world he knew? For what? For her. But then her voice slipped into his thoughts, not words, just feelings, fear, loneliness, and a thread of something, fragile and burning. Hope. Ryan realized his answer before he spoke it. ***. They ran. The tunnel twisted like a glowing vein, and with every step, Ryan felt Lyra through the bond, her strength flowing into him, his heartbeat syncing with hers. It was terrifying. It was beautiful. They burst into a vast chamber, wider than anything Ryan had seen yet. In the center floated a ring of black stone, etched with glowing symbols that spun slowly in the air. The gate. Lyra stumbled as they approached. Ryan caught her before she hit the ground, feeling her weight press against him. She was light, almost too light, like the glow inside her was all that kept her from fading away. Stay with me, he sighed, gripping her tight. Her silver eyes met his, dimmer now but still fierce. Ryan, if you step through, the bond will make you like me. No going back. He stared at her, chest heaving. The hunter's hum roared down the tunnel, closer, louder, like a storm tearing through metal. Red light flickered in the distance. Ryan tightened his grip. Then what are we waiting for? Lyra pressed her glowing hand to the gate. Symbols flared, spinning faster. A low, deep tone filled the chamber, shaking the air like a living heartbeat. The black ring brightened, a swirling void looming in its center. Go, she shouted over the rising noise. Ryan pulled her toward the gate, but a blast of light tore through the chamber, throwing him to the ground. His ears rang. He blinked through the haze and saw them. Hunters, tall, skeletal forms of black steel and crimson light, their faces sharp and hollow, their eyes burning like embers. Lead hunter stepped forward, voice like broken glass. The Star Child belongs to us. Move, human. Ryan's muscles locked. Fear hit like ice water, but then warmth. A surge of energy through his veins. Not his. Hers. Run. Her voice whispered inside his mind. I'll hold them. No, Ryan shouted, forcing himself up. We do this together. He didn't even know what he was doing, only that his hands were glowing now. Blue light crawling under his skin. The bond link pulsed like fire in his blood. When the nearest hunter lunged, Ryan moved without thinking, thrusting his hand forward. Light exploded. A wave of blue energy slammed into the hunter, hurling it back in a shower of sparks. Ryan stared at his own hands, breathless. "Holy, Ryan!" Lyra's voice cut through his shock. "No!" They ran. The gate roared, the void swirling faster, pulling at the air. Hunters screamed behind them, beams of white slicing the chamber. Ryan grabbed Lyra's hand warm, glowing, trembling, and together they leapt. Light swallowed them whole. For a heartbeat, Ryan felt everything stars burning, skies of fire, an endless ocean of black. And through it all, her voice in his. Mind soft and breaking. "You chose me, Dot." Then came the last thing he saw of Earth, the chamber vanishing behind him, the hunter's red eyes fading into nothing. Dot. And then silence. Ryan opened his eyes to a sky full of stars he had never seen before. His skin glowed faintly, blue veins of light pulsing under it, echoing hers. He looked at her, truly looked, and for the first time she smiled. "Welcome home," Lyra whispered. Ryan laughed softly, breathless, as the truth sank in. He had opened the wrong door, and it had led him to the stars. The end.